Man, I hope you can hear it this time. Last time, only I could hear the music. You guys hear the music? Am I just jamming on my own here? Come on. Somebody let me know. All right, we got one viewer. You got to let me know, man. Can you hear the music, or is it just me? If I only hear the music, that's not good. What do you think, guys? Can you hear the music? Ready? That ain't good. Really? Man. Can you hear me? That's important. Can you hear me? Chester, Maine Maple. Can you hear me? We really can't start. Cool. Thank you. But you can't hear this. Did you hear the cheering in front of a live studio audience? How about the music? You guys hear it? It's just me on my own. Man, I'm just jamming to myself here. All right. That's sad, actually. Let me try this. Still nothing. That's awful. Sorry. All right, guys. Dave Carlin sent me a message. You can hear a little? Wait, hold on. I wonder if it's coming through my headset. I can hear it. You guys can't. That sucks. Because it's good. All right, guys. So Dave is the reason that we're doing a Sapchat. It's almost 10. We just got back from a basketball game. It was one of the greatest high school basketball games I have seen with my son in it, and he did a great job. He had 22 points. What was the score? I think 59. It was a nail biter. 59-56. 59-55. They kind of ran away with it there. They were so evenly. It wasn't even. Teams were good. 59-54. Yeah, River Hill Maple. I need a little help with audio and broadcasting. I don't know why, but this roadcast mic thing, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I know the last live stream was hilarious because I'm like jamming and no one could hear the music. And I left it that way because it was funny. So just got back this weekend from the New York State January meeting, which was cool. Got to see a lot of you guys. I do, I like when people are like, hey, man, watch the channel. It was cool. Like my son, Ben, he's with me. He's 13, and he thinks it's pretty cool that people know his dad from YouTube. But why I do YouTube, this goes back like almost 25 years. Well, my whole life, really. First thing I'll tell you. So I get some comments every now and then that are like, hey, I could do without the music. It's a little much. I like the video, but the music was too much. And, would have been a great video if you didn't have music. But what you guys don't know is my grandfather, JP, started all of us on musical instruments when we were like 2 years old. Like all of the grandkids play. We're all musicians. And my grandfather recorded video. Like if my grandfather was alive, he'd watch every video that I make and call me the next morning and tell me about the video that I made. He was like our biggest fan. And so I don't make it for you. I make it for me. So music, cameras, story. My grandfather, he was the singing storyteller. and I have his guitar right here behind me. Yeah, he got us all started. And I guess that's why I kind of do this. The other reason is to democratize information. 20 years ago, we had Maple Trader. That's how we learned how to do things. We would ask questions. I mean, it was in the Midwest, kind of embarrassing. The first time I bought an RO and it shipped to me. And you know how it was 20 years ago. Like, there was no instructions. Not that it's any better today, but it's a little better. And you get this RO and you're like, sweet, I'm going to run SAP through it. And I had no idea that there was, membrane storage solution. So I like start making this concentrate. It's like cloudy and tasted awful. I'm like, what the heck, man? Brandy says, nice hat. Brandy got these made for us. They're pretty slick. I'll talk about gold evaporator here in a little bit. But yeah, so 20 years ago, we used Maple Trader, and I saw that Theron recently jumped on Make Maple Syrup Great Again Facebook page, and he was one of the OGs at Maple Trader because it said Theron, like THE, under on his signature, Theron, and he was so helpful to help get us going, and he was sharing information. But so much information has been controlled. You think about before phones, and I'm talking about Maple information. Information traveled by letter. So if G.H. Grimm came out with a champion evaporator, there would be letters. There was a traveling salesman that would go around with his little mock small evaporator, and he would try to, sell them that way. But I noticed 20 years ago, and now that I've traveled the Maple Belt from, New Brunswick, Maine, Minnesota, that as I travel to different maple regions, there's different lingo used in different regions. Like if you go down to Somerset County, Pennsylvania, they call sap water. A bucket's called a keeler. If they use their own, because there was a wooden sap bucket company there called Keeler. So they don't say how many buckets did you hang. They say how many keelers. Did you hang some keelers? Like that's the language in Somerset County, Pennsylvania. And you think about the history of that. And then, you flash forward, 100 years or so. And what I've noticed is the equipment that's preferred in certain areas typically had to do with who was the strongest dealer. And there might have been better equipment out there, but you didn't know it. And the control of information, to me, nice. What I need is a moderator. Anybody want to be a moderator? How about you, Riverhill? I'm going to make you a moderator if you want to be. We need moderators, man. I don't know how to do it. So control of information. And it still happens today. And I spoke on two different things at the New York Maple Show. And the first one was the difference between opinions and facts, like experience. So people can have opinions about things which do not stand up in the court of law. Your experience or what you see, what you witnessed, stands up in a court of law. And if you've ever dealt with judges for anything, you'll find out that they quickly have discernment on what is opinion and what is fact, what you can prove. And I find that in the ag community, people are heavily influenced by opinions. And there's a difference between opinions and experience. I heard this. I think this. And it means nothing. And one of the coolest things happened at the New York State show is somebody came up to me after the first talk. He said, you're right. You were talking about why you do the YouTube channel. And so I can control information. It's not what somebody can say I said or what Nate Bissell this or Nate Bissell that. He's like, you're right. I was told this, and you're nothing what I was told. And I'm glad I came to this. So the rumor mill attempts, if someone can't control you, they try to control what someone thinks about you. I'm going to say that again. If someone can't control you, they try to control what someone thinks about you. And there is zero control in the maple industry over this. Like, there's nothing in between us. And the maple industry's changed, especially in the equipment side. Like, being able to show videos of how Dan Crocker makes syrup, I think, has probably single-handedly raised the yield in the United States. Because I can't tell you how many people that have been like, hey, I used to run my tubing on the north side of the tree. Now I don't. And yeah, that it made a difference. Sorry, we got people popping in. It's like, dang, how do I? Oh, I can actually put your stuff up here. Cool, your comments. You guys, can you even see the comments? So, like, if I put it up, it's there. How do I make a moderator? Anybody know? I don't know how to make a moderator, guys. I need one. But I don't know how to do it. I'm sorry. So, control of information. And I think that's been a weapon that is now, like, the knees are taken out, right? So you can watch the channel and somebody can say, well, Nate Bissell this, Nate Bissell that, or whatever. And you can watch the channel and go, So if someone's a liar or a manipulator, like, you're going to start to see it. I like this. It's 40 degrees in northern Michigan. No, like, catching these early runs, I think, are what make your season, to be honest with you. It's like the difference between the full crop. But Mark Earlston said it once, and I thought it was really good. He said, Nate, you know what the difference between a good maple season and a bad maple season is? He goes, one more freeze. Chris, what's up? Thanks for jumping in. So, control of information. And the dealers, the equipment manufacturers would control information through dealers to a region. So as I travel the Maple Belt, I see it. Like, in this area, everybody uses a Lapiaro, this, and in this area, everybody uses the old leader because, the Amish had a dealer there and it was very strong. And, like, the days of controlling information are gone. You can try to, but like I said, I want to democratize it. I think everybody should know everything, good and bad. But to try to control information is just, you can't anymore. You really can't. So that was, kind of cool that a guy came up to me and said, hey, Nate, I was told this and that. And then I sat through your talk, and then I'm glad because you're nothing what people told me that you were. So that's cool. Like, that was probably the coolest thing that happened to me at that show, is because that's why I did this. I want to take the knees out on people that'll try to discredit you and, harm your reputation. Am I perfect? No. I screw up all the time. And I show it. So there are people out there that want you to believe they never screwed up. And there's only one person that did that, and they hung him on the cross. So Why do I do it? Grandpa John got us all started. And then the second reason is to democratize information. I think you need to know as much as possible. The more information that's shared, the better. So that is really why I'm doing this. I cannot be controlled. And if you cannot be controlled, they try to control what people think about you, which is common. Like, this isn't just the maple industry. But let me get these, get this up here. Any questions, guys? But that was the first talk, and I think it was helpful. I like this. This guy is helping me. He says, click the three dots menu next to their chat. Yeah. And add as moderator. I'm in this program called StreamYard that allows me to simultaneously stream in YouTube and Facebook. So that's my challenge. Is I'm not actually in YouTube. I pay like a fee so I can simultaneously stream, and it's a way better program. Like, I can do different things. So StreamYard's the key. How do I add a moderator in StreamYard? Kevin usually does. I have a couple, but they're not on tonight. I didn't, let them know. But let's just see. Oh, I see it. Three dots. All right. It says, here are my three options here. I can delete your comment. I can put the user in timeout, or I can ban user and delete their comments. Those are the only three options I have, which is freaking terrible. So frustrating. Gosh. So I really want to make you a moderator, River Hill Maple. If anybody is familiar with StreamYard, that's what I want to do. I've even tried right-clicking. Yeah, sorry I muted you. I was literally trying to make you a moderator. What's the little star mean? I don't know what that means. Don't know. So sorry. We're just going to have to kind of watch it. If you see something, let me know. But it's been a minute since we've done some Sapchats. Dave's been really sick. I promised I would do this yesterday, I think. But we've had some really warm weather. We see, syrups are made in Ohio, Vermont. Yeah, different life. No, it was a different life. What does that mean? The other thing is it simultaneously casts in the vertical format and horizontal now. So every time I do a live stream, it comes out in two places on YouTube. Oh, sorry, Dave. I was talking about Dave Hughes. Yep. I know Dave. Are you in New Brunswick? I think you might be in New Brunswick, if I recall. So we're in an interesting crossroads with equipment companies that they cannot control information. And what I noticed coming from the Midwest and going to the Northeast is the best maple farmers in the world are not equipment loyal. Oh, that's right, Dave. Yep, Southeast Minnesota. Meaning they'll pick the best products from every company. They don't have to buy all CDL. They don't have to buy all Lapierre. They actually just want to make the most pounds per tap. So they buy what helps them make the most pounds per tap, which I think is interesting. Yeah, those three dots are killing me, man. I don't know how to do it. I'm sorry. Let's see. Oh well. I don't know how to do it. I swear it was easier before. It's like, why can't I do this? Don't know. I'm not seeing the comments you're putting on the screen on my end. Well, that's not good. You can't see that? I'm putting your comments up. Guys, I'm sorry about the technical crap. I really need somebody to help me do this. Yeah, I just don't know how to do it. I'll probably have to do it after. So you cannot see the comments on YouTube. Like they're coming up. Sorry, this technical crap here. I should know how to do this. It's what happens when you wing it. Anyways, cool. Vermont Maple Farmer says they can see it. Just not in the comment section. That River Hill Maple, that's probably on your format. You might have to open a window, close one. Cool. So, control of information. I noticed the best maple farmers in the world are not, they just want to use the best products. Like it's common knowledge that D&G makes the best large filter press. It's common knowledge. It's pretty well understood that like the spin seal is just superior to the saddles. They don't leak. Like this is just common knowledge. And I'm just thinking about guys like Dan Crocker that just use different things because it's both a combination of cost and yield. So they're not, they'll buy the best thing for their operation. And this whole like one brand loyalty thing is so interesting. It's like a sociology experiment. So, yeah, the control of information. It's interesting. I mean, don't you guys think it's a good thing that, information is shared? Like I don't understand it. I think everybody should know everything. But all right, cool. Up to 17 people here. So I think which is an opinion, everybody should know everything. I don't think we should be controlling information, but it happens. So the rumor mill, like if anybody ever hears a rumor, you can call me, text me. It might be true. Like one of them's like, Nate Bissell's a know-it-all. Like, yeah. Like I heard that once. I'm like, crap. Yeah. Like that's your enemies will tell you more about yourself than your friends and your family. So it's kind of a superpower if you can get over yourself and listen to them because usually they're right. Yep, I am. But there's also like I think it's called ad hominem, which is a fallacy that I see this a lot. I'll give an example. I love my sister. Um, Kids were little, and my kids would go over there and they'd play, and my kids come home with bite marks. Like my kids are a little older, and it's like bite marks. Like multiple. Looks like they went in a pond, and like there was multiple leeches on them. They got pulled off. So I go to my sister and I go, "Hey, boys are getting bit. You can take care of it, or I'm gonna have them do it." And she lashed out and said, "You're not the greatest dad, or you're not a good dad." And it was like, true, but it doesn't discredit these facts. I see that a lot in the maple industry. People will Well, this guy ran that company in the ground. Why would we listen to him about how to put tubing on? It's like installing tubing is a completely different skill set. And the first part probably isn't true either. So, how do we discern? Discernment. That's the word to look up, guys. How do you know who to listen to, what to listen to? Information changes, but especially in the ag industry, I cannot believe how many people are influenced by things that they're not even relevant. We make decisions emotionally and we justify them logically because we're human. And I've spent the last 6 to 7 years just focusing on decision making and how we do it. Anyways, anybody got any questions on Galt? It's been fun doing the Galt evaporator company. I think this is good for people to understand like what we're doing, why we're doing it. No one's going to be able to control the information. Whatever the objections are. I certainly expect companies to come out and say this or say that. I'll sit there and say, well, Appier makes the best conventional evaporator because the turbo had, like, I will give credit where credit's due. MES has the best steam evaporator. Like, why can't we just give credit where credit's due? Why do we got to cut down or try to? It's common. Like, success is an infinite resource, and we try to think of it in terms of a teeter-totter. There's a name for it. It's called, what is that called? The zero-sum fallacy. That you think that success is literally on a teeter-totter. So if someone gets success over here, somebody's losing it. That's a logical fallacy, meaning it's common. I mean, somebody gets some credit at work over here, and what are we going to do? Knock them down a few pegs over here, behind them. Because it's like love in your kids. I got 3 kids. I don't love this kid 1/3 and love this kid 1/3 and love this kid 1/3. That's insane. It's infinite for all 3 of them. So when somebody does something well and they're not on your team, why can't we just say, dang, they did something well? I just don't understand that. I don't know if any of this is helpful, but I think about this stuff a lot. I think about it a lot because I see it. So, yep, the rumor mill, controlling information, those days are gone. Yeah. All right, guys, you got to ask some questions because no questions, no interaction. I'm going to go to bed. It's been a long day. Tomorrow I'm going to stop over. Dave's been putting the hoods together. So he's got the preheaters put in the hoods. Hoods are kind of put together. So I'll go over and do a live stream tomorrow with Dave on the Galt evaporators. And I think next week he said he's starting on the arches, assembling the arches. A lot of you just laying there in bed. You want to say something, you want to ask something, you're just not doing it. If I don't know the answer, I'll tell you. I am often wrong, but never in doubt. Come on, we get a chance to talk maple here. Who is that? Duke 690. I see some maple. That's cool. Hi. Cool. Yeah. Oh, thank you, guys. Thank you for the interaction. We can keep going. Good stuff. So, what's the plan for the vacuum pumps? I know you mentioned in the last live. When will you have pricing? So this year, I have kind of an opportunity. I have a company that wants to break in. And the vacuum pumps are going to be very equivalent, strikingly similar to Atlas Copco. And in fact, they called me today, and I'm trying to work a deal with you guys, the vacuum pump company, and say, look, there are people out there running, you know, water vane vacuum pumps, and they want to get higher vacuum, and we could put a vacuum pump in there, and darn, might almost pay for that vacuum pump just going up, a couple inches of vacuum. So some of the things I'm working on, so you guys know, is being able to provide equipment to producers ahead of the season, and then taking maple syrup on payment. And I'm being very selective. I'm trying to find test sites, people I trust, people I want to work with. Quite frankly, the more syrup you have, it's probably a higher likelihood that I'd get you a vacuum pump, and then we'd square up with syrup after the season. I have the ability to do that. I have the partner to do it. I can tell you Atlas Copco would never do that. It was very rigid. When you get big companies, they become behemoths, and the red tape to get anything done, even the things they should do, it just like when pumps are not working right or they have a manufacturing defect, make it right. So this is a great question. How many taps this year? I'm just doing buckets, and I can cheat, and I'll tell you how I'm going to cheat. Every day, my production team makes about 150 gallons of 7 bricks sweet water, just cleaning out the filter press. If we cleaned other things, I'd probably end up with about 200, 225 gallons of 7 bricks sap. Call it sap or sweet water. So I'm actually going to be able to boil year round. We haven't had that. You buy that syrup when you buy drums, you buy totes, you pay for it, but you lose it in the cleaning. It lines the pipes, like the filter press. So I'm saving that, and I'll get to boil year round. So I'll be able to haul these totes. They're filling IBC totes for me. Haul them to the farm. Once a month, I'm going to boil, and I'm pretty excited. This year, I actually have somebody, Adam from Hometown Acres, is getting me firewood in IBC cages that's been kiln dried, so we'll have some consistency, so I can actually document like what's our evaporation rate. Now he brings up a good point. He was messaging me today, and he said, the type of oak versus maple, there's going to be different BTUs, and he's right. Like I've always wanted to do a side by side comparison of evaporators. Like I saw the other day. Did you guys see a used Smoky Lake pop up? It was like 2x6. They wanted like $6,000. Like I want to do like a side by side comparison. I think it would be cool. I think a side by side comparison of everybody's 2x6 would be an amazing video. But you have to use the same wood, same barometric pressure, boil on the same day. How do you do that? Like this is where those people can try to influence or manipulate. Well, it's 22 gauge versus 20 gauge, and blah, 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 blah. But I don't know. I think it would be helpful. This is a great question. The more choices, the more expensive it is in production. So the question is I know you've said it's only going to be a single side draw off. Do you think you will eventually do both? I don't know. I'm trying to I basically am going to be able to book out like all of Dave's production, like Galt Evaporator and Creekside Welding are basically merging because I can outsell what Dave can make to a certain extent. He can add people, add capacity. So I guess what's unique about our company is if anybody goes, Nate, I want a quote. Just so you know, I'm getting quotes from H2O, CDL, Lapierre. I'll be like, dude, just go with one of them. Like, I have more demand than I have supply. Like, I'm playing a different game. If you want cheap, you really can't beat Smoky Lake's entry level evaporators. You can't beat them for the price. And Lapierre has the vision. Like, we're doing production professional evaporators that are meant to make money. They're different. So I don't know, but I'm getting requests. I could have sold 30 evaporators this year. That's insane. So about 4 years ago, I went to Maple Syrup Equipment Companies and I said, hey, I think this YouTube thing's going to be big. And I went to the wrong people. And to be fair, I wasn't ready yet because I just wanted free crap. I saw a bunch of YouTube channels getting free things, and I'm like, wow, I want free stuff. And I tried to bring what I already saw as successful to the maple industry, to the equipment companies. And I'm like, look, this is going to work. Like I already knew, and trying to convince people what was going to work it was really frustrating for me. And I was a jerk. Like I was not a nice guy because I'm like, this is silly. So that, you get more flies with honey than you do vinegar. And I was pretty certain that this was going to be successful because I saw it in like sawmilling videos, outdoor videos, firewood videos. Like I had a feeling that maple it needed one. And we have a very strong presence. And I've just decided that, so I went to people like that weren't the top dogs. They were like my reps. And I'm like, hey, I think this YouTube thing's going to be successful. And what happened is those people instantly made a decision like, Nate doesn't deserve this. I don't think it'll work. And then they never moved it up to the top. Like I noticed that. So I just went right to the top, and it really ticked some people off. And I'm not politically savvy. What does Thomas Sowell say? If you want to control people, you tell them what they want to hear. If you want to help them, you tell them the truth. And I'm so grateful for guys like my father-in-law, Tim McCarthy. Like my mentors are direct. They're busy. They don't have time for your feelings. And thankfully, I'm a very direct, like just give it to me straight. A lot of people are offended by the messenger. I'm not. That's why I'm offensive. The messenger does not offend me. I'd rather hear what they have to say. I don't get offended by how they say it, if that makes sense. So let's see. Thank you. The golf. I'm telling you, I got a hold of a guy yesterday from Minnesota, and he's been watching them. He's ready to upgrade. He's got a 2x6 monkey leg, I think. No, leader. He's ready to upgrade because our 2x8 is going to do what most people's 3x12s will do. Like it's just a higher performance rig. And Brad from Minnesota, he reached out. I said, just call me because he's waiting for pricing. And I'm just like, look, I'm looking for the right customers. I don't have a sales problem. It's more of I'd rather partner with the right people over just selling evaporators. Like I have no interest. I'm looking for the people that we can help. They can help us, syrup buying. Like it's a mutually beneficial relationship. But these are great questions, guys. Let me catch up. I should rephrase that. I mean, would I be able to specify? Yes, I think so. We weren't sure, like, Dave and his partner weren't sure like where things would go. I think they thought I was full of hot air. And now they're like, don't sell anymore, don't sell anymore, don't sell anymore. And it's because of this, because you guys, because of the channel. People are looking for like American made. There's not really a lot of American made evaporator companies anymore. But yeah, we can do everything from 6x16, 3x12, 3x10. Like Dave's, he can make them all. But the other thing is getting in early. Like I've got one fellow that really wants one of our low profile steam aways, but we call them a low profile flash pan. That's what Dave calls them because they're shorter. They're like 14 inches. So when people don't have enough height in their sugar house, this product works just as well as a steam away, but it's shorter. Dave has kind of redesigned it. There's no reason to have 9 million 3/4 inch pipes. It's pretty smart what he's done. So the people that haven't had an option now have an option. This is a good question. I think Dave does do these. Yes, I do. I think Galt is going to have water jacketed canner. We're definitely going to have a forehead filler. We've been working on that. I think one of the best products Dave makes is a water jacketed draw off tank. So if you have one of our flash pans, you take the hot water off of that and it goes into the draw off tank, which is jacketed. So if you aren't making a lot of syrup per hour, syrup stays hot because of that water. Kind of cool. Like he developed that. He was the first one to do it. And some people have copied it, but it was definitely Dave's innovation. So I bought this little barometric meter from who's the guy that made the auto draw? Like the original, like OG with the magnet that like pulls the plunger up. Marklin. I have a little unit that you push the button that tells you what the boiling point of water is that day. That's kind of nice. Everybody should have that. Quality over quantity plus the customer service. That's why I went with a smaller custom company for my 2x6. Heck yeah, dude. And I think like we're just meant for the people that want to make money. Like you can have the hobby with a flat pan 2x4, the 2x6. There's just a big jump going to that 2x8 and having the ability to boil, 140 gallons an hour. You can make a lot more syrup. But yeah, we're not playing the same game. Like we're changing the rules. You have access. You can see like who else is showing how they're making it? Like no one. I have kind of figured out the way to be successful in the maple equipment company is just do the opposite of everybody else. Don't hide crap. Be honest. If you make something faulty, don't hide it. Like there's a company out there right now that put out like 1.25 or 1.5 inch tubing that keeps splitting on the fittings. But they just wait till people complain. They don't go, hey, bulletin, we screwed up. We didn't have the mix right, between the UV and like that's embarrassing. But I will tell you, when companies don't have money, they make the wrong decisions. Like their decisions are solely based on money, not reputation. And it just is a slow death. So if I put out tubing that was splitting, causing problems for my customers, and I saw it, I would say, hey, we got a problem. And I think what they're offering is like a free roll of tubing. We'll give you a free roll of tubing. What about all the freaking labor and wire ties? Like, yeah. Look, at some point we will screw up. And I swear to you, like, that's like part of who we are. Like, you fix it. It doesn't matter what it costs you. Your name's worth more than money. We've got a Smoky Lake 2x8 with steam hood. Been good for us. 600 gallon per hour CDL. What is like evaporation rate? And I want to be clear, like evaporation rate is just the water coming off. You know how like you can draw off and it looks like you're boiling more than you are because you're making syrup, like just the water evaporation. I'm curious. Like I know for Dave, he says, we're going to get 85 gallon per hour with the preheater and the 2x8. That's really good. Because a lot of 2x8s, I met somebody at the New York State. They were up in northeast Pennsylvania, and they had a 2x8 Vision, and they were getting 40 gallon per hour or something. So I was just curious what your evaporation rate was on that. Like it shouldn't be a freaking secret, Yep, Marklin was it. They need the competition. It's true. But like we have some advantages, right? Low overhead. You're not paying for the 3/4 ton pickup trucks that all the sales reps are driving. Facility wise, being in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania, I'll be straight honest. You can make a good living, raise a family, have a house. When I travel to Maple Belt and go to the Northeast, I just cannot believe, what the cost of living is. homes, wages, and they still can't get people to show up. Like, I am so thankful we're in Ohio and we're right in the Rust Belt. And these guys worked in steel mills, and like our dads and grandfathers, like, Lincoln Electric, like these places, there's just a blue collar work ethic that is totally an advantage for us. It just is. Yeah, I heard about this. All the leader spouts that had micro cracks and pinholes a few years ago. I don't know. It's a tough. Like, we're gonna screw up. Everybody's gonna screw up. Just own it. It's kind of like when you copy a piece of equipment. Don't be like, no, we didn't. You look like a moron. Like, I'm gonna straight copy equipment, and I'm gonna say, this is a really good piece of equipment. I think it could be better. We're changing it this. But give homage to, like, who deserves it. Like, you look like an idiot when you're like, we didn't copy it, even though you used a tape measure and a notepad. Like, because there's good equipment out there. Like, you would actually have far more credibility if you're like, yeah, that MES rig, we just copied it because it's the best one out there. But we made this change and this change. Like, why run from it? Just own it. Like, I don't know. As I said, yep. I don't know. Like, you're right. Like, it happens. Like, I'm really focused on like the medium producer. I think that's the area that's lost. I think like small producers, they're going to be really well served by the RO bucket. They're going to have to use whatever they can to evaporate. Like, I'm talking like hobby guys. And I'm ready for the people that like are graduate, like they got the bug, they're in it. Those are the people I'm looking for. You got 50, 60 acres and you're like, I'm going to retire and I want to actually not mess around and buy the cheapest thing. I want to actually make syrup so I can sell it and make money on my trees. Those are the people I'm looking for. The people are like, I'm going to put you out to bed. Like, that's just like, I get screenshots a lot from different people that say, hey, check this out. This guy's going to put me out to bed and I have the best product, best price, and they're going to put me out to bed. Like, why? Sometimes when you're the best at something, Earl Gunsley used to do all our carpentry. He was my father-in-law's best friend, and I bought 3 duplexes from this guy when I was like 27 years old, and one of the kitchens needed remodeled. And my father-in-law just said, give him the key. I said, well, what's the price? Don't worry about it. You would just offend a guy like that if you put him out for bid. It's like Clayton. You don't put Clayton Christie out for bid because he's the best, and it's just you're embarrassing yourself if you're like, I'm going to get a price from CDL, H2O, leader, and you try to commoditize something that isn't a commodity. It's kind of like gold. We're not a commodity. We can only make so many. If you want cheap, go somewhere else. You're not really going to. And by the way, the best thing that we can offer has nothing to do with evaporators or, there's a lot more to the network than just the equipment. 95 per hour is awesome. That doesn't include draw off, right? Like, how do you know? You have to subtract your draw off, which I can help you do right now. If you're like, hey, I made this much, I was at this bricks, I can tell you what your draw off was from your evaporation rate. But no one really wants to do that because they want to have more horsepower in their tractor than the next guy. They no longer list the gallon per hour on their catalog as they did a few years ago. Who's they? Let's see. Like, the laws of physics still apply. Like, unless you see some time travelers in your area, like if you guys have time travelers, like you might have physics beat. And I'm, but 100 gallon per hour evaporation on 2x8 is insane. That's great. I mean, I hope it's true for your sake. But based on the flue size, like the physics doesn't, I don't see how that's possible. You could do the whole like 20 gauge, 22 gauge. That's minimal. That really is, it's insignificant. We left leader due to the T's being weak. CDL has been good to us and happy with the spirals and connectors. They no longer list their. One of the things I always liked about leader back in the day is they underestimated their evaporation rate. They were very conservative. You're better off saying this and exceeding it. That's something that I like. But I have to go on like Dave's. He's got some experience. So if he says 85 gallon an hour, I'm going with it. Good stuff, guys. Keep it coming. Go another 10 minutes. So yes, we're building extractors. We got vacuum pumps, evaporator draw off, low profile flash pans to compete with, steam aways. And that's the other thing. Like, we're not going to be cheaper than a steam away. Like, why would I do that? I got more demand than I have supply. So I will straight tell you, it's less material than a steam away. It probably takes us less time to make it. The technology is just better and it's lower. So the people who've never been able to add one now have the ability. I'm going to maximize the demand because it's the right thing to do for us. Like, we need to reinvest, make sure we're getting, it's good tech. So if you want 50% more, I think he says you get 40 to 45% more evaporation. If it's not worth it to you, that's okay. Because it's worth it to other people. I'm not paying that. I know. Go to www. That's cool. I would never pay for that. It's okay. Because there's 10 people that will. What else you got, guys? Also, our logo and stuff, I think it's cool. Look, it actually has like something behind it. It sure looks like AC/DC. I get to use AC/DC like songs for everything we do. Like, I like this hat. It's my favorite one of the 4 we made. What else you guys got? Come on. Oh, cool. There's a few more. I missed them. I like CDL signature spouts. I believe that's a Gary Corey. Like, he had a lot to do with that. Okay, cool. I love this. That was gallon per hour based on drops. Thank you. That's honest. Tell me your bricks and your evaporation rate, and I should be able to tell you what your true evaporation rate was. So whatever you take your RO to, I can actually calculate it for you. I use an old bottler as my water jacket at draw off. It has overflow on it. Yeah, so you basically run it the same way. Like, you run an old bottler as a. Do you run like your steam away? Like, Dave has said this. Like, if you try to use a preheater to heat your draw off tank, it's just not enough BTUs. You're just going to make lukewarm syrup to filter. All right, here we go. On our 2x, we upgraded the fan from 350 CFM to 526. That got the heat moving, but never better than 95. The agency that was pushing 8.4 bricks. Okay, let's do it. So 8.4 bricks. So you take 87.1, which is your. They say the rule of 86, but it's really the rule of 87.1. So take 87.1 and divide it by 8.4. And that means you are every 10.369 gallons of your concentrate will make a gallon of syrup. So let's just say you are pushing 85 with the draw off, which it probably isn't, but let's just use it. Or I'm sorry, 95. So, do you know about how much syrup you made per hour? Were you making like 20 gallons? Like just an estimate. Like if you do use 95, which is going to be way over exaggerated, divide by 10.369. So every hour you're actually pulling off 9.16 gallons of syrup. So if you take 95, which again, that's an overestimation. It's probably more like 85, but let's just use 95. So you're right around 85. What's interesting is the flue sizes and the number of flues. Like the Galt pan has more flues and they're bigger. So I find that interesting. Like Dave's saying 85, and then yeah, let's just figure it out. Like I'm curious. Like I don't know until I prove it or don't prove it. I like this. This is true. I think clean flues make a difference. All the soot that comes off with the SL flue scraper. SL, that's smoky leg, I think. That thing you stick right in the back and go between the flues. That soot. You're making 25 to 30 gallons of syrup an hour? That's ridiculous. So that means your evaporation rate is more like, even if we use 25, 70 gallon per hour, if that's your draw off. I hope that makes sense. Like, I'm not, like, I want it to be the best for you. I'm not like rooting against it, but physics is physics. No steam away, just a homemade backflip preheat in the hood that goes to hood drain. Yeah, it is. You gain 10% evaporation rate with preheater. Oh, 25 to 35. Okay, that makes more sense. So about a half a drum or so. Yeah. Okay, cool. And by the way, like with a wood fired evaporator, like startup and ending, um, you know, there's like it's a ramp up, it's a bell curve. Like you ramp up, get peak production, then come back down. That's what kind of what's nice about oil and gas. You're hitting it, you're up to production quicker. Yep, Smoky Lake. That's really low though. I don't know. I always thought like 30. I got 35 gallon per hour with a 2x6 DNG drop though. So 21 is low. The WSE has less flues, I think. I remember seeing those. I used to read the lead, by the time the new leader catalog came around when I was a kid, like it was worn out. I love that crap, dude. I love those catalogs. I'd read them all. I just love dreaming of the things you could get. Yep, I learned the hard way. That was a step in between. What do you get? I don't get it, but what is that question? Step in between. You're talking about upgrading from a 2x6 to a 2x8. I think in general, 35 gallon per hour is probably cooking with a 2x6. Yeah, it's more of an entry level. That's kind of like, I was talking to Dave about comparing evaporators. He's just like, look, these are production evaporators. These are like serious pieces of equipment. So if somebody's like on a budget and they're just looking for lower, like Dave's 2x6 probably will outperform most people's 2x8s because it's just a more industrial, like it's a more professional unit. I hope that makes sense. It's not entry level. Like Galt is not. We have an entry level pan that I got to get over to Dave Hughes. He's going to be using that. Yeah, I had like the little rheostat blower, you know, on the 2x8 D&G. You know, you had to shut it down so when you open the door, you're not getting a face full of soot and ash. How many of you that are watching went to the New York State January meeting? Yeah, he does. He's got this thing called, he calls it the donkey, and he goes, it's stupid. And he's got this 2x4 that does like an insane amount of operation. I remember seeing it. He calls it like it's called the donkey model. And he goes, dude, it's stupid. So I just like, I've enjoyed working with Dave. Like we have totally different skill sets. Um, but we're a pretty freaking good team, actually. Like, I wouldn't want to compete with us. Really good comments coming through. Here we go. It's too bad you couldn't sand the flues like an old steam locomotive. By the way, Dave has a steam evaporator. Like he built his own. He put two out there. I'm pretty excited about it because Dave has connections, you know, within the Amish community to find these old boilers that are like 65 horsepower and they run off firewood, which I think is cool. And they're like from 1913. He has one there. If you go back and look at the live streams, would it be cool to run a old steam rig with firewood to run an evaporator? I just think that's going to be cool. Like we will have our own steam rig. Like as I develop these with Dave, you know, we will definitely do steam. No, like Dave's his own company. I think what we may do is exchange shares. Like we should probably do something to where like Galt's success and his success are mutual. But the transparency, like you know, I am who I appear to be, and I think Dave's the same way. Like, um, I think it's just a good team. Like I don't want to control Dave. Like he's a wild horse. You got guys like that. You don't want to try to tell them what to do. You just want to be like, look, man, here's the opportunity and let them do their thing. I don't want to be. I don't want to lord over anybody. Have control. Like that's stupid. But yeah, Creekside's a company. He does other things, but it's quickly gonna get, you know, in lifestyle too. Like I don't know that he wants to work 100 hours a week. So we'll probably just have a limited. Like we're gonna book production. Like we already have people that want operators for 2027, and they're ready to prepay, which is awesome because it helps us get material. 2019, 2020. Yep. That's a good question. So you must be, that's like a Pennsylvania guy. Like you just say like half the sentence and you have to infer the other part, front and back. You know, I grew up in Ohio, went to college in Pennsylvania. When I'd go back home, I started talking like I was from Pittsburgh. And my sister would be like, man, you're kind of aggressive, you know? Because I'd say things like, you know, you eat that. And my sister would go, is that a question or statement? So when you say more flues in it, like I don't know if it's a question, statement, like it's very Pennsylvanian. Oh, I see. Yeah. So the Galt definitely has more surface area. Now, Dave and I talked today or yesterday about doing an 11-inch flue. There's some challenges with expansion and stress on the flue pans. And I had max flues, both on my 30-inch by 8 foot wood fired rig. And that was a combo. So it was like kind of drop flue raised. And then my 4x14 natural gas was raised flues. And this is just me. Like it's really hard in my experience to make light syrup with the max flue pans, which is fine. Like my customers want that product. It's not like that big a deal to me, but the boil's so violent that it doesn't follow a gradient. So like you have a partition down the middle, but it's so violent that the sap is just everywhere. So you're just like cooking the whole thing over and over. Like you literally need that partition to go all the way up to the top to not have the violent boil. And then it's also a challenge when it foams. And I think Dave called it the signal to the float box. Like you can get so much foam on the top that there's like no liquid in your flues. Yeah, Anderson. I don't know. You a maple guy? Not sure. And maybe, yeah, I don't know. Cool, man. Thanks for stopping in. Jason's out. Peace. It's true. Remember, money's made in the woods. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks for jumping on. It was fun. I got to figure out how to do a little bit more of the technical stuff, but looking forward to it. I'm going to try to do a live stream tomorrow. Check out the hoods at Dave's. But anyways, thanks for stopping in. Catch you next time.